Hey everyone, my name is Gavin. I decided to do my listening project with my friend David. David's been a longtime friend of mine, and the topic that I wanted to listen to him about was his opinions on the decriminalization of drugs. David believes that all drugs should be decriminalized, meaning that if anyone is caught with narcotics on them, there should be no legal action put against them. He wants this eventually to lead down a road that goes to the legalization of all drugs. Before the conversation, I really wanted to come in with two theories in mind that acted as a guide for this conversation. And those two theories were the active listening theory and the relational listening theory. As David spoke, I really wanted to show him that I was actively listening to him, that I was thinking of him holistically, and I wasn't just taking his words at face value. I also really wanted to communicate to him by repeating back to him what I heard him say, and to ask him any clarifying questions that I had. And then in terms of the relational theory, listening theory, I wanted to make sure that I came into this conversation without judgment towards him. At home, he's faced with a lot of judgment for some of the things that he believes in our inner circle of friends and in his family. So I really wanted to make sure that he knew that I didn't have judgment for him in the things that he believes, and I genuinely wanted to listen to what he was saying. The way that we communicated was through FaceTime. This was a mode that was not my favorite. I don't think I was able to show that I was making eye contact with him, and I wasn't able to show with my body language fully that I was listening to him. But yeah, some of the key things that I learned about in this conversation was David's intentions behind what he believes. I kind of assumed that his intentions behind what he believes was that he thinks that there should be no government involved in our lives. But in reality, the intention behind what he believes is more person-centered. He believes that the certain people who are, say, drug addicted, or even who die from drugs or do things like that, are not taught in a proper way about drugs and the safe amount to consume. And his opinions really point towards being more caring about people, which I assumed that was not the case. An obstacle that I did encounter while listening to him was the schema that I had about drugs. I definitely have preconceived notions about drugs, and I had to try to put those aside when coming into this conversation and interpret what he was saying with a fresh mind. Something I learned about myself during this conversation was that I like to interject. When I feel like I have a good point, I wanted to interrupt what he was saying and explain that point, but that was not productive in our conversation. If we could do this project again, I definitely would have split up the amount of time that we talked with each other. Our interaction was for 2 hours, and according to cognitive load theory, that is too long to retain everything that was said. There are probably some points that I definitely missed because of how long our conversation was. And in general, listening in my interpersonal relationship with Christ is huge. I really believe that listening to Christ is crucial for a Christian's relationship with Christ. And in this type of listening that I have to have with Christ definitely goes beyond just hearing words, because Christ isn't always going to communicate through just words. And Christians in general, I think one of the implications that come along with listening mindfully is considering Christ calling us to love our neighbors. According to motivational theory of listening, it's a lot easier to listen, and information is retained a lot better when we have a motivation to listen. And I think our motivation should be love. It should be Christ calling us to love. I think listening mindfully in my personal life would grow me a lot closer to those around me and would also allow for more new connections with others. Thank you for listening.